Good evening. I am Brian O'Connor, Chairman of the Water Pollution Control Authority. It is Monday, October 28th, 2024 at 7 p.m. I'm calling this meeting to order. Please stand and face the flag for the pledge. Mr. Glad, if you don't mind, lead us. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes of the WPCA meeting held on September 23rd, 2024.
Mr. Chair, I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of September 23rd, 2024.
Do we have a second?
Mr. Chairman, I will second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? So moved. Next is the report of the town engineer. Mr. Casey, please provide a brief overview of the 3 action items proposed by the town engineer's office.
The first 2 items are referrals back from the Planning Commission. The first item is for the proposed gravity sewer that will run along Sniffens Lane to Main Street and then end in a new pump station on Main Street near Access Road. That has been forwarded back with a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission. And item 2 is for the same favorable recommendation for extension of the public sewer main to the property at 150 Ornoak Lane. And then item 3 is we received a request to extend that same sewer further. And that request, we would ask the WPCA to refer back to the Planning Commission for recommendation.
Thank you. So again, the first action item from the town engineer's office is to approve the design for the sewer system at Sniffens in Maine. I'm looking for a motion for the PS and gravity design for the sewer on Sniffen and Maine.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion that we accept in the design phase for the Sniffens Lane project that was recommended by the Planning Commission.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Ooh. Renee seconds. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. The second action item from the town engineer's office is the proposed sewer extension connection at 150 Ornoak Lane to a single-family home. Again, this was reviewed by the Planning Commission and approved. I'm looking for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the request to extend the public sewer main to a single-family home at 150 Ornoak Lane be approved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, let's put it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. The third action item from the town engineer's office is the proposed sewer extension connection at 100 Ornoak Lane. The motion would be to refer this to the Planning Commission for an 8-24 review.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Ilia.
I'll make a motion and request to extend the public sewer main at 100 Ornoak Lane for a single-family home be referred to the Planning Commission for an 824 review.
Do we have a second?
Mr. Chairman, I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Report of the Water Pollution Control Plant Superintendent. Mr. Hyde? If you don't mind, would you just give us an overview of the two action items on the agenda tonight?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Board. The plant generator, backup generator, the radiator is seeping and failing. We contacted A&A Generator, our equipment, current contracted generator repair company. The radiator is a little above their abilities, so they shopped it. They offered to get the radiator repaired for $126,000 with their removal and installation for a total of $189,000. We went on and looked to find that Beer Ward, the manufacturer of the radiator, could supply us with a new radiator coming over from England for about $90,000. If we coupled that with A&J's quote to install and remove the unit, it would have come to about $153,000. The third completed option, there were actually a half dozen different companies that I was working with, was BGR Radiator of Plainfield, Connecticut. They are the industrial radiator specialist in this area. And they quoted to come into the plant, dismantle the radiator, bring in new cores and tanks for it, reassembling it in 3 to 4 days for a price of $75,000, not to exceed $75,000 to $295. They require a 50% deposit with the order. They give a 3-year warranty with in-house repair, including labor, because it is an in-house repair. The other two were giving a 2-year warranty and a 1-year warranty. So this is our best price and our best offer. Additionally, we need to have 2 backup generators in the plant to back up for this plant in case our power goes out. We can do that with 2,000 watt, 1,000 kW generators tied into each of the substations. A&J, again, does not have these generators available. Spoke with Sunbelt Rentals. They have these rentals available at a cost of $24,164.03 for 2 weeks. That's a 2-week period because we want to bring that generator in, make those generators in, hook them in. We are currently putting in tie-ins so that we can hook those generators in. And make sure that they're operating properly because we want things to be prepared before the repair crew gets here for the radiator. And we are also keeping it for a few days afterwards in case any issues do develop during the process of repairing that generator. So I request to use a total of $75,295 from the capital outlay contingency account 6641, the other contingency account 6689, and the balance from plant maintenance account 6319 to have BGR Radiator repair the backup generator radiator. Secondly, I would request to use $24,164.03 from the plant maintenance account 6319 to rent backup generators during the radiator repair.
Thank you. And thank you for your hard work.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
First, we're going to do the motion, and then we'll do a second, and then we'll open up for discussion.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Llewellyn.
I would like to make a motion that we approve the request from the account as explained by Mr. Hyde in the total amount of $75,295 to BGR Radiator for the repairs to the backup generator's radiator.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Yes. Second that.
Second.
Mr. Green seconds. Now we're open to discussion. Mr. O'Neill.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, through you to our superintendent. So the request for the 20,000, the original 20,000, and
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you up. Right now, we're on the 75 for the radiator portion.
So we're just doing one at a time through your chair?
Correct. No, I didn't mean to interrupt, but yeah, 2 action items. So right now, we're discussing the 75,000 and change. Is there any discussion regarding that? Seeing none, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? So moved. The second action item that Mr. Hyde brought to us from the water pollution control plant is the rental of the backup generators during the repair. I'm looking for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move the request to use, and as it was read into the record, it was $24,164.03 as opposed to what is on the agenda, but from the plant maintenance account number 389386319 to rent backup generators during the radiator repair.
I'll second that motion, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Is there any discussion? Mr. O'Neill.
Through the superintendent, just a question. So where did the original $20,000 estimate or whatever price come from? Because I'm saying since we bumped it up to 24.
Sorry, Mr. Hyde. If you don't want.
I'm sorry. The prices came from Sunbelt Rentals. What had happened was that they made a clerical error. There are 40 50-foot cords to connect these generators to our power, to our substations. And the rental of those 40 cords is about $4,000. And that was not on the original. It was a simple mathematical error on their part.
We would have went off of the original price of the 20,000, and if they knew everything that was entailed into that bid, you know, when they gave the 20,000, then the 20,000 should remain. But again, you're saying that that information wasn't given to them when they gave us the price the first time?
We're putting this together rather rapidly. They have actually sent over the course of the last month 3 or 4 quotes back and forth across my desk because I was looking for variations of ways to resolve this situation. And when it came down to nailing down the final decisions on what we're doing, there was a small communication error. But it was, I will say it was more on my part than anyone else's, because I didn't clearly read through and make sure that it was in there.
All right, because the only reason I'm suggesting that is because a lot of times, and I'm sure you're aware of this as well, you know, when people know that you really want it, all of a sudden amnesia comes in and, you know, we didn't include that, you know, so for me, it's always important to see what is requested, you know, what's written, so that somebody can't come back and say, oh, we didn't include that, you know, so, but if you're saying that it's our error, then it's our error.
This was more from the area of their documents, their computer systems, probably antiquated like some of ours have been in the past. The forms don't always fit perfectly to typing something up and forwarding it to the customer, and therefore it wasn't 100% clear, so I kept sending back questions, and somewhere in there we made a small error. But no, they are not playing games with us. They have been 100% upfront, up straight, and supportive. To the point that, in fact, I got a phone call this morning that someone else would like to use one of those generators, and they wanted to know what my time frame was because they weren't going to release that generator until I authorized it.
Mr. Llewellyn.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, through you to Mr. Hyde, just for clarification purposes, by renting these cords, you'll be able to plug these generators directly into a substation. Therefore, there'll be no electrician needed for a shutdown, connection, removal, and then disconnect. We'll be able to do this work on our own.
No, that is not correct. These are high voltage lines. These generators will not be on automatic. I may in fact be keeping, we were discussing this a couple of hours ago with one of the outside contractors. I may be keeping an electrician on hand in case we ever do lose power during those 4 days, which it's possible. and it's worth paying the electrician to watch over. But no, I will not let anybody other than an electrician touch these lines. And as for the setup, we're going to probably bring in somebody from Southern New England testing to make sure that we don't have any opportunity for backflows or mistakes in this. Although we've got a pretty good plan going, I like the extra confirmation. There's a lot of power here that we don't want to make a mistake with.
Thank you, Mr. Hyde. Just following up with Mr. O'Neill's concerns, just looking to make sure that we have the complete package all priced together, and we're going to get what we need to get this work done. Thank you, Mr. Hyde. Mr. Chairman?
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Through you, do you have an idea of a timeline or dates of when this work will tentatively be done? If you know of the 4 days, November, December.
If I receive approval this evening, I will tomorrow begin the process of cutting the PO and getting that 50% deposit for the equipment. The vendor, upon receiving that PO, will order the parts. There are 2 to 3 week lead time. I imagine they will schedule it at that time. As I said, last week we cut a PO, smaller PO for about $8,000 to work on our end and get our equipment supplied, so that if we have a failure before this happens, we can bring generators in immediately. But their parts will be about 3 weeks out, so I'm expecting that the operation will be about 4 weeks out. It should be a 1 week operation, so in 5 weeks, beginning of December, we should be all set.
Thank you.
I have a question. When replacing the radiator cores, is it like anything else? Like if you replace something, you open it up, you take it apart, is there some sort of opportunity that something else could go wrong? Or is the core like one big piece, you take it out and there's, maybe no other issues? Or could there be something wrong with the shell? I don't know much about it, but it just sounds like there's some space for difficulties.
I'm sorry, Ms. Gibson, are you going back to,
75, but just because we're talking about the timeline, so the timeline could increase if there was an issue with replacing the core, or no?
This core, bear with me just a moment,
Thank you.
is made up of 8 different sections. The entire unit is about 8'3" by 9'4" by 5.5 feet. It's a large unit. They will be coming in and disassembling it. There are some hoses and so forth that go with that. They should be included. They're included in this process. Yes, there's always the possibility of something going wrong. That's why I asked to bring the generators in a few days ahead of time. If we're going to do the operation on Monday through Thursday, I'm going to bring the generators in on the preceding Tuesday, so that if there's any issues, we can resolve them before Monday, because these radiator people are expensive. And they should be done by Thursday. I will still have the generator through to the following Monday or Tuesday, so if there are any issues, we will have them covered, and it should all fall within that window.
That makes sense. I just from the idea of having like timelines and it takes this much time to put this part together based on a book, based on repair books, you considered all of that. So thank you. Thank you for that. Appreciate that.
Welcome.
thank you, Mr. Hyde, for your well-thought-out plan and collecting all of these different bids and finding out how to get this done, because it's obviously very important. Are there any other questions in regards to the $24,000 and change on the rental of the generator? Seeing none, we're going to put this to a vote. All in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Town Attorney, Mr. Marino, do you have anything to report?
No report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. The next WPCA meeting is scheduled for November 25th, 2024. I am now looking for a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
I'll
I'll
second.
second it. Oh,
Mr. Aurelia? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all.